There we go. I pressed my mouse down and not the record button on the other thing.
Oh.
So I was like, wait, no, I'm off.
Excuse me. Oh.
I want to watch movies with Kojima.
I know. Isn't that so cool?
I know. I was looking at that tweet. You just see everybody like, I hope I get a raise.
I know.
If
you look at the quote retweet, somebody's like, imagine it's like your first day hired there, and then Kojima over here makes you watch a movie and you get fired because it looks like you just didn't enjoy the movie, but in reality, your back just really hurt.
Your back just really hurt?
Like you were just uncomfortable because look at all the
I know,
there, like
the seats, yeah.
It's like, oh my god, oh my god.
Are you ready for another one?
I am. Let's do this.
Let's get crazy.
Woo! Too crazy, too crazy.
Welcome to another episode of VGXL. I'm your host, Daniel, aka Games. Joining me again is the beautiful Fefer from the channel Fefer. And today we're going to be discussing Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 Rebirth Reunion and stuff. Woo!
Woo! Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right.
And if you're not already following, please follow us on Twitter at VGXL Podcast or Video Games X Life on Twitch and anywhere else. Yes, because VGXL is short for Video Games X Life. Life. And we can find the beautiful Fefer at...
On Twitch, I'm Fefer. On Twitter and TikTok, I'm Fefer Plays. Oh, and Instagram too. Yeah. Fefer Plays.
You know, you got to work on that, Fefer. Every time I say,
do.
you're just like, where am I from? Where? Who? Are you going to say?
I got to work on that stuff from
You've been on this podcast way too long, Fefer. Way too long.
Sorry, I work on that. I'm sorry. Okay, next time I got you. Wait. Can we do a replay? Like, just do over? Fefer Plays on TikTok, Instagram, and on Twitter.
Oh,
and
God.
Twitch,
No, forget it. Forget
Fefer.
it. Stop it. No.
No?
No, that was good. It's not so much how you say it like that. It's the pause. I go, and beautiful Fefer at, and you're like, oh, yeah, that's right.
Sorry. It's like, oh, wait, it's my turn to talk. Sorry. Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's right. I have to say the things, don't I? Oh, man.
What are my ats?
Oh, shit.
No.
I know that's how I feel every time, right? And it's like the same crap. Like, what is that? Wait, what? I know I need to do like a whole like renaming of everything, and that way everyone can just find us, and it's the same across the board. I'm just torn because Video Games X Live is so long, so it's like I might as well just make it VGXL on everything. But I might even change my Twitch channel to that I was thinking, but I might as well just change it at this point. Make it a lot easier. So we'll see what happens.
That makes sense. VGXL, yeah.
Yeah, just change everything to that. But yeah, so after a long, crazy video game, not E3 last week, you know, and our super long 2-hour episode. If you haven't listened to our last episode, I think that was 56, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, the one right before this one, go definitely check that out. It's about 2 hours long, but we cover pretty much every game at the Summer Games Fest, and a lot of games at the indie events that happened afterwards, like the Guerrilla Collective and all that good
games
stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, the Wholesome Games event. So yeah, so definitely check that out if you haven't gone back to that. Just want to thank everybody who's been listening to the podcast. We appreciate you. Definitely give us some feedback whenever you can. And you know, hit that, at least hit the like on the YouTube if you don't mind. Just to show me you guys are listening and whatnot. But if not, obviously, what can I do, right? I'm just happy if you're hearing this and you don't do anything. Thank you for listening. But yeah, so you know, kind of excited because it's like after all those games and after everything. Well, before I even continue with that, what you been playing this week? after all that?
Oh, I've been playing a lot of random things. Because of the Steam Next Fest, there's so many demos to really try on there.
Right.
I kind of went crazy and downloaded a whole bunch of them, and I went through them on stream for the most part. But if honestly, if they didn't really catch my attention that quick, then it was just like ooh, kick it off, kick it off. Either
Right.
that or like I know the Fridge is Red was one of them that I tried. It was like an older looking kind of game. It had
Yeah.
the old feel, and it was a horror game, but I just couldn't. It just made me just feel like I was gonna get terribly sick. Mind you, I already had patches on.
Oh
So
yeah.
for that to just for that to come through even through the patches, that's
Oh, that sucks. And yeah, and those
ugh.
patches normally work pretty good. 'Cause I've seen you play some games that would normally make you puke, work.
Oh
So if
yeah.
it's cutting through that, then that means yeah, something's definitely going on with something with the
Yeah.
game.
Because then it also had the head bobbing as you're walking,
Yeah. What was the name of that game
and
again?
the Fridge is red.
Oh, the Fridge is Red. What a weird name.
Yeah, it's very odd. I think it from what I did actually play, it felt like it was trying a lot to be extra scary.
Okay.
Um, it was
And it was extra
okay.
vomity.
Yeah, it was extra vomity. It was definitely scary in that sense. But so that one didn't really make the cut for me. I did play Kaiju Dating Sim. It was really cute. It was really easy because even when I was just like, let me say the wrong thing, I ended up kind of matching with one of the kaijus
Right.
really well. And then I ended up beating the demo super fast because I was just like, let me pick this one. And then it just turned out to be the right one. So it was really cute though. Eh, It's not for me. I don't think that like that kind of dating sim was for me, really.
Yeah, I hear
Um,
you.
Boxville, I did play. That's a point and click adventure. That was really good. I did get stuck at one point with one of the puzzles, but then I figured it all out. It's very, very thorough in the clicking, and it all makes sense when you're going through it. I thought it was really cute. What else did I play? I played Nyad, which you're the nymph in the water, and you're calmly swimming through and
Oh
all
yeah, I
that
remember
stuff.
that from like
That
the
was really
Wholesome Direct, right?
pretty.
Or Gorilla
Yeah,
Collective. Yeah.
exactly. Exactly. That was really cute. It was very pretty. It was very relaxing. I definitely recommend. It felt like the demo was really long. I cut myself off from continuing playing because it felt like I was playing a lot. And that's one thing about demos. I don't know. I just the shorter the better for me personally because I like to leave some stuff to the imagination in games when I finally decide, "Oh, let me go and buy it however long after."
But
So
maybe
if
there's a
I'm
lot
playing
more. If it was long, maybe there's just gonna be
I
that
mean,
much
maybe it
more.
is. Maybe I hope there is because if there was like 5 different like little chapters or I forgot what they were called in the game that I got up to and it just felt I guess they could be longer, but it felt long enough for me to play the demo. So maybe I was
Hmm.
playing too slow, whatever the case. I cut myself off because I was enjoying the calming vibe from it, and I just didn't want to have too much of it.
Yeah, I
That
mean,
was
not for
me.
nothing. I'm with you on that. Like when it comes to demos and shit, I'm not. If it's a game I'm looking forward to, I really don't care about the demo. I might like check it out if I want to just see like maybe the graphics or how it plays a little bit at most.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
I'm not huge on demos unless it's something that I'm really curious on how it plays and I'm not sure, and it's something that just looks weird or interesting. Because then for me, it leaves me wanting more. Or like you said, it's too much, and it's like I kind of got my fill, and it kind of gives to me. It's not all the time, but like how everyone got sick of Deathloop because it just got brought up
Oh my
so much,
gosh.
and there was just so much, and nobody gave a shit because it was just like, all right, already with this fucking game. It's like
Mhm.
fatigue. It's like I don't like to be fatigued from games, so it's like again, if I'm like I tried like the one game that I did try because I was really interested. The one demo I did try rather was Spirit Tea. which I think you tried as
Oh
well.
yeah, yes, I did. That was really cute and fun. I forgot I played that one. I
Yeah.
said I was going crazy with all the Steam demos this weekend.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed that little demo. Like I wanted more. That left me wanting more because that's more of a survival
Yes,
management sim. So it's like
yes,
making the tea and getting the towels in the bathhouse
yes.
for the ghosts or whatever, the spirits.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
I don't know. I
love
was
that.
enjoying it. I was enjoying the hell
That
out
was a
of
nice
it.
touch.
And then it got
Yeah, and
night.
then
And then it
you
was
had
like,
to.
yeah, you got tired or whatever. Or how long did you
Yeah.
play?
Oh no, oh no, yeah. I played. I went past like midnight in the game, and then once I eventually just like I'm like, okay, I'm not sure if there's more to do, and then I ended up like closing my bathhouse, and then once they all left, then I was like, okay, let me see more, and then it's like, okay, this is the end of the demo.
Right.
So, and there was like, oh, that's nice because it taught you how to play. It showed you the level, the first level, how to do the things, and it's like, okay, here you go, have fun. And I like that. It's just like, okay, here, go ahead, go do your thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, it was
I
cool.
enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I
and
enjoyed that a lot.
what was it? Like they're saying that that's like Stardew Valley meets Spirited Away, because of the ghosts
Yeah,
and stuff. So if
I
you like,
like that. Makes sense.
yeah, it was good. That was that I didn't mind too much. So yeah, like I said, when it comes to demos, I'm hot and cold when it comes to demos. But
Absolutely.
was there a few more that you played?
I did play. What else did I play? Okay, so the last two I did save. Well, actually, there's a third one. Um, so I did play Melatonin. That one's a rhythm game. It's pretty much it takes like daily things. The premise of the story, you're asleep on the sofa, sitting on there with a bunch of snacks around you and whatnot, and then
Mm-hmm.
you're in your
Snacks.
dream. I don't know. And you're in your dream, and then you have different scenarios. So then in the demo, it showed you were eating food, and then it took like let's say pizza, and then it like a little I don't know box of pizza like threw a pizza slice at you, but it was on beat to the rhythm of a song, and I thought that was really cool because one, I love rhythm games. Come
Mm-hmm.
on. But they did it really well because the sounds they felt, you know how like in Spider-Man or like God of War you feel the punches and the stuff is like crunchy.
Uh-huh. Right.
That's how it felt. That's how it felt for this rhythm game. Like the
Oh
screen shook.
man.
You have the option to have the screen not shake too, which is great. But I kept it on and it felt like it added to the experience because I'm going through the motions and then you get into the music because the song is actually really good and
Mm-hmm.
then it gets difficult and you miss it and you're like oh damn you get really I got really into it and I thought it was great.
No,
I
that's
can't wait for
awesome.
the release. That's definitely one of the games that I can't wait for release on there because it had really catchy tunes, really difficult gameplay, and it was really fun. It was different, so that was really cool, and it was very nice aesthetic. Other than that, then there was Toilet Chronicles. Toilet Chronicles was just wild. There, you're in a bathroom. You sit down to cry on the toilet, and somebody asks you for some toilet paper, and it kind of goes from there. It's very weird. It's very out there, and the demo is you you find the different endings. You can die a handful of ways, and then it's at the end you get achievements for the different endings that you get in the demo.
Mm-hmm.
I did end up beating the demo by getting to, I guess, the end point where I went through like a wall. But it was very weird. It was very weird and very funny. It kept me on my toes, and that's another one I definitely recommend. It's a horror. I forgot what it's considered. It was like a horror something. I don't even remember, but it was just weird. It was just really funny though too.
That's the
It's
one where you like you get a picture taken and you have like your pants
the
down.
yeah, and then for some reason you're just walking around with your pants down, but yeah.
Sounds like my type of game. All right. Let's let it out, baby.
Helicopter. Ah.
Oh man.
Other than that, I did go back to I had already played this game before, video game Fables. Shout out to Momiji Studios. They've they have a great game on their hands. I really enjoyed it. It's a snarky, sassy kind of RPG game that you are the Princess Aru, and you have to go with Nate, uh, I guess kind of a new acquaintance that you've met, as well as the villain's son to save the world.
Mm-hmm.
And there's silliness that goes around, and yeah, it's definitely cool. You got platforming, you've got talking, you've got all these different little things, discoveries that you can go and find out.
That's
That was
cool. That's
definitely cool.
cool. Yeah, that game was fun watching, and when you had the dev there too, watching you, that was
Yeah,
really awesome.
exactly. Yeah, and then Matt was hanging out with us, who was really cool. And definitely check out that game as well. Their game is coming out on the 15th or the 19th. Oh, I forget what day that it's coming off.
Hmm.
15th. It's the 15th.
All
So
right.
definitely check that out too. Yes. But yeah, that kind of rounds up everything that I played.
You played
Because then I did
too
end
many games, yo.
this
Jeez.
weekend I did, and then I even played some Hollow Knight after the fact. I'm
Yeah,
still working on Hollow Knight.
I know. But yeah, so I mean, for me, we Ninja Turtles came out this week, so definitely that
Oh
was
yes, that
fun.
too.
Yeah, that was fun that we played with the kids and everything. So we playing some more of that. I've been playing it on hard mode, trying to because you can look it keeps count of all the foot soldiers you kill, which is something that's really awesome. It has like some minor RPG elements, and then as you kill more and more, it's kind of like levels you up, so that
Yes.
you end up getting like more and more abilities. So that's been really fun, kind of messing around with. I bought we have it on PlayStation to play with the kids, but I also bought it. It was like $22, so I was like, I bought it on Steam because it's on sale, and so I could play in the Steam Deck. I mean, honestly,
Mhm.
like that's what the Steam Deck's really gonna make me double dip on PC and a console game, because the console could be for the kids and everybody else, and I could play on my Steam
Mhm.
Deck, or we can play on our Steam Deck depending on what game it is. So
Yeah.
that's been awesome. And then Monster Hunter Rise, I've been grinding it out because we're less than 9 days away from Sunbreak, so I'm hype. I'm actually hyped for it because it's supposed to be, if it's anything like the way Iceborne was, it's supposed to be a massive expansion. It's like I feel like ever since, maybe not ever since, but I feel like Capcom and Final Fantasy 14, them working together doing the Monster Hunter event and
Mhm.
crossover, it's like it feels like they took a lot from Final Fantasy. So like you can give how the end of it in Final Fantasy 14, you can give commendations, you have that, but you can give everybody a commendation that you play with
Oh,
in
that's right.
Monster
That's
Hunter
right.
Rise. Yeah, you just press like up and left and whatever, and I like that. That's fairly new. I don't Was that there from the beginning on the Switch? I don't remember if that was always there.
I don't
um
remember if it was always there. I'm not sure.
yeah. So, but that was cool anyway, and there's a couple other things that I'm like, it feels like they kind of learn from each other. But Final Fantasy their expansions are always massive. They're all full games, so I'm hoping, it's something like that as well. It's supposed to be brand new areas, brand new monsters, all kinds of shit. So I'm excited. There's a demo, but I'm like, I don't need to play a demo. I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm
no.
just grinding through the main story, through the main game right now. Just playing. I don't know. It's so addicting. It's like Monster Hunter. If you haven't played Monster Hunter, what's great about that is that it's minimal story. There's some narrative there, but this is one of the few games that I can play that I do not care about story. Like I like going in there, wrecking monsters. Then when you kill them, you get their parts, and you use that to make gear, which can look awesome. You can mix and match gear if you want. And then once you've seen a monster, unlike World, which is like you have to like study the fucking monster by getting like their mucus
Yes.
and which I
Yes.
can appreciate some of what they did in World, but I really hope that that's minimal in the next game. Like, because that makes it hard that's a game that's hard to play with new people, because it's like you got to go through the whole like learning about the damn monster and getting their mucus and their poop and all that.
Mhm.
Just,
The
like
feathers and all that.
exactly,
Mhm.
just to learn about them and put it in your book so you know where to find them. And it's like, the way they did Rise was perfect. They took the things they learned in World and all the bad things and took all that shit out of it. So you get to a place, you'll see question marks. All you have to do is cite the monster one time. I think once you cite it, then you learn about it. You know what I mean? Like I think that's really all you need, all you need to do. Because I know there's monsters that I never fought, and I have all their details in my booklet, and it tells you like what they're
Mhm.
weak to or whatever. So if they're weak to ice, that means I got to go kill an ice monster. Okay, if the ice monster is weak to fire, then now I gotta go kill something that would help me get materials for a fire weapon. And that's what I like about it. It's like you gotta kill 3 other monsters to build up to the one you're trying to kill for the gear that you want. And you end up with like, that's why now I have like fire resistant weapons, poison weapons, and then my gear, I have fire resistant gear and water resistant gear or whatever, just building up to other mon. And then you fight like a for the next rank, that's I'd be preparing for that too. So that's what keeps the cycle going in those games. And then every time you rank up, it's just so much that you can spend hours. And then with the Steam Deck, it's like, oh, let me just kill this one monster really quick or whatever. And it's like jumping. And since it was made for Switch, it was made for mobile. That's why I'd love having the Steam Deck with something like Monster Hunter, because it's like it's already a game that was designed for kind of a mobile device. So that's been great. That's why I say I think one of the biggest mistakes is Capcom or Valve not realizing this or knowing about this and not working with Capcom to say, hey, let's do like some kind of like pseudo launch with the Steam Deck and some kind of special or whatever. Like buy the Steam Deck and get like 10% off of Monster Hunter Rise or whatever. You know what I mean? Like that would have been a cool like thing, because that game works great as a Steam Deck title. It's 3D. It's a modern game. I mean, obviously it was made for Switch, so you can tell the assets are a little bit dumbed down, but regardless, it's still a great looking game, and it runs locked 60 on my Steam Deck, so it's great. But yeah, it's enough rambling about that. But yeah, that's all I've been playing this week. With some Final Fantasy 14 we have mixed in there as well.
Yes.
But yeah, so Monster Hunter Rise is probably on sale. If you're listening to this, when this episode came out, yeah, it's on sale right now. Oh yeah, by the way, GOG's been giving out free games that I've been completely missing. But Flashback is available right now. The original Flashback, you should totally get it.
Oh.
I think it's a game you'd appreciate.
All right.
So definitely check that out. Or what? I'm destroying my wire over here. All right. So on to the news of the week. The biggest news, like I was discussing before, it's like we have Summer Games Fest. We have all these other little indie events, and then it's like, Capcom does their own kind of little thing, and then I guess these people see back in the E3 days, it was considered part of E3, quote unquote, but it was they all had their own showcases on the stage, right? So Ubisoft would always do their own thing. Square would kind of always do their own thing. So I think they kind of wanted to keep that same vein of like, we want to kind of do our own thing, because honestly, Final Fantasy did a 10-minute event just to they show some Final Fantasy 7 merch, which was funny.
Yes.
And then it's like Final Fantasy 7, remake is coming to Steam. And right there, I already knew it. I was like, where's Xbox? Where's that? Oh, shit. And sure enough, people have been livid that, Square has completely just, they really just went all in, like plays, like Sony put a lock on Final. They said, this is a beloved game, and this is it. This is one of the biggest. They know that nostalgia. They know that nostalgia is enough to make sure that game sells and whatnot. And it's just, to me, it's just crazy that it's like they really did lock the game down, and not for nothing. That kind of sucks. I gotta say, I will never be a fan of third-party exclusives. I will never be a fan of that. Like for in-house exclusive, yes, absolutely. Give me a reason to own the console that I spend money on. Absolutely, but third-party, like paying just to say no to everybody else, it's kind of fucked up. What do you think about that?
I think I get it, because look at how all these Xbox players are just so angry. Yeah. I know they've been waiting for it for a while, and they were really hoping for it, and it just got shut down.
Yeah.
But I mean, honestly, we have all the different systems, so at this point, it's neither here nor there for me.
Just get a PlayStation. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. You want to play Final Fantasy 7 immediately? Wait for PC, which is because so moving on to my next point. So they announced it for Steam, that the Steam release, because it's been on Epic Games this whole time. So now the Steam release is out as of right now. And they were like, with support for the Steam Deck. I was like, yes.
Yay.
Even though I'm probably not gonna rebuy that game. That's a lie. I'll probably rebuy it once it's on sale. Once it's on sale, getting closer to the Rebirth game. So they right after they announced that, they also announced Final Fantasy Rebirth is being made. That's going to be the sequel to Final Fantasy VII, and that's the name of it. So it's going to be Remake, Rebirth, and what's the last name going to be, Fefer?
I forget.
No, come up with one. They didn't say it. What do you think the last name is going to be?
Recternal. Staying with the R's, right?
Yeah. Returnal. Well, it's Rebirth, so it got to be something.
Reminds me of a girl.
Resurgence.
Rebirth
Resurgence. Sorry, that's from Call of Duty. There's Relapse, Requiem. It's probably gonna be something stupid like that, like Requiem.
Requiem. Requiem, your rubium.
Remorse. Oh, I could see that being a remorse. Because there's a lot, it's about Sephiroth feeling bad about shit or whatever. I could see that being it. Or
that sounds good. That actually it hits.
Yeah, watch remorse. That's what it's gonna be.
You heard it here.
You heard it here first. I'm calling it for now. So next winter, which that means January 1st, right?
Yes,
January 1st will be next year. But you ever realize that winter comes twice every year? That sucks. It starts at the previous year, continues to the next, and then it happens again later that year. So you get winter in January, and then you get winter again in December, like November-ish in December, depending on where you are. That sucks. But anyway, they say next. I'm assuming that's winter 2023, though. So that's either going to be December or anywhere up to March 20th, March 15th or something like that. So next winter can mean a whole lot. So they were very vague with that, but I'm assuming as late as early 2024, honestly, depending on how well how things go, and hopefully it's like December 20th or whatever, and not the following year. But we'll see what happens. And then
that makes sense, though.
Yeah. And then in that same thing, Crisis Core, a game that I played and completely forgot about. Like, I legit don't remember anything in that game. I don't know. Like, my mind completely wiped out the fact that I completed Crisis Core from beginning to end, and I know I beat it, but I don't remember anything about that game.
All the better to play it again.
Hell yeah, I can't wait. Fully remade, remastered. So it's not gonna have PSP assets. It's gonna be, they're taking from the remake engine, and they're gonna make that. So that's pretty cool. I gotta say, that's pretty fucking cool. I'm super hyped for that. Yeah. And then they showed the Ever Crisis mobile remake. So Ever Crisis apparently is gonna be a what's that called? Like it's more of a remake, like a 1-to-1 remake of the original game. So I feel like, cause look, so if this very slight spoilers here, but Final Fantasy VII Remake is not the same game as Final Fantasy VII for PS1. It's not. It's a different game, told through a kind of a somewhat different lens. So the assumption is that Sephiroth is changing the past. Sephiroth from the future, before he dies at the end of that game, somehow figures out a way to fuck with time, and is changing things up. And you learn that in the game, like the fate clouds or some bullshit happens in the game, and so something is changing the main story, so that's what we're experiencing. So what I'm thinking here is that, which I'm not mad at. At first I was like, but the game was so good that I can't even be mad at it anymore. To me, it's cool enough that So it's not exactly the same game. Plus, we get a fun new game. Plus, most of the story beats will probably be the same with additional things added. So maybe some filler that was in the old games, may not be here for this game or whatnot. But I hope they don't remove too much, because all the main parts of part one, that were in remake part one or whatever, was in the first 3 hours of Final Fantasy, with and then some, you know what I mean? Then they added tons of stuff to because again, it was only 3 hours that opening. If you knew exactly where to go and what to do, it was only 3 hours. And I think they did take something. I just can't remember what it was. And I was like, why is that missing? Oh, the barrels. There's like a part when you save Ares for the first time, you got to push barrels down, and they didn't redo that part. So certain things they're keeping, certain things they're removing, but the main story plot, I think, is going to be more or less the same. And then things, as things start to change, you know what I mean? So they'll probably still end up at Nibelheim, the beginning of this game, which is the first town you go to. You'll probably still meet Ares, foster mom or no, Tifa's family or whatever it is, and stuff like that, and they'll have the flashbacks and all that. So I'm thinking that's all going to be there. And then as things, as they're trying to figure out what the hell's going on, so we'll see. I just hope it's fairly open world like the original game, because that was like the whole big thing, So now it's going to be PS5. I don't because the expansion was only on PS5. I'm pretty sure this is only going to be a next gen exclusive. So that's interesting and that's exciting. So this game will be built from the ground up without PS4 limitations. So I think that's going to be great. And we'll go from,
that's awesome.
And we'll see what happens. Hell yeah. So, and you need to play that, woman.
I do. I know. Yes, I know.
Because you played the first Final, you played the original Final Fantasy 7. So you need to play the remake. It's really good.
Yes,
it's really fun. I know,
and I won that copy too.
Exactly. So, but yeah, Ever Crisis looks like it's more of a 1-to-1 remake. I think it's going to be episodic as well, and it's going to come out for Android and iOS. And I think I'm going to fuck with that one too. Like, that will probably be the original story without anything changed, which I think is cool, because this is not the same game. They really didn't remake the PS1 games. So that's what Ever Crisis seems to be. Ever Crisis is going to be like the OG game, the way it was intended, whatever, and with the better graphics. Maybe it seems like there might be some voice acting. It's Barrett from the remake. It's Cloud's design, everybody's design from the remake, with like semi chibi, like pretty much they took that chibi art style from PS1 and made them full modeled or whatever. So I'm not too mad at it. Like, it's pretty cool that at least we get that. So, which again, I feel like that shouldn't have just been mobile. They should have just fucking released that side by side. Like, you want the original game, we'll release episodes of that so you can see what the original was and then what the remake changed, and then like so on and so forth. But anyway, and I think it's gonna be the same thing. I think they're gonna give you chunks of the game, as the other games release. So you're not giving away, if for the people who haven't really played the original games, you're not getting too much Final Fantasy 7. You know what I mean? Like, you can see different stories or something to hold you over while you get ready for the next game.
Exactly. In between during the wait there. Yeah, no, that sounds cool.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Oh yeah.
And then I'm not really a big fan, but the big news is Dragons Dogma sequel came out, so that's got announced. So that was on Capcom's channel, and that's pretty big. Dragon's Dogma is like a Western style RPG that came out like back in like 2011 or 2012, something like that. And
it's supposed to be really good, right?
Apparently it's supposed to be like an amazing game. It's kind of like a Monster Hunter game without really being a Monster Hunter game. You know what I mean? Like a heavy narrative, but really interesting fights or something like that. I played a little bit of it because people talked about it so much that I finally bought it, and it's just an older game and it was taking too long. Now that I have the Steam Deck, maybe I'll give it another chance with the Steam Deck. So I'm pretty sure that's on Steam if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Dark Arisen, which is in the library. Yep, it's $5 right now on Steam. So if you don't have that game, you want to check it out, definitely worth checking out. Okay. But yeah, I that's cool for people who want it.
Oh yeah, of course.
See, so yeah, so that's all I got for now. I have a few other things, but I know you have some news stories you had through on there. Anything you want to cover real quick?
Yeah, so kind of keeping with the Final Fantasy theme. So, Hironobu Sakaguchi,
Oh yeah, we know who that is. If you're a nerd like
yes.
me.
Yes. So, he's been playing Final Fantasy 14 since like the end of 2021. And he's been tweeting like all about it. And he's made a free
Really?
company. Yeah, he's tweeted all about it. He has a free company, and they named it Square. He named it Square, and the free company tried for a free company housing. The first try on the lottery, they didn't get it, but the second time they actually did. So they have a free company house. I just thought this was really cute, and I thought I'd like to share this with everybody. And they have a house. They decorate it really nicely. If you go to his Twitter, as a matter of fact, he has one of the rooms, or I guess at one point the furnishings was like the marble character, the little green things all over. It
Yeah.
was all green, and then they take a lot of G pose pictures as a
Marlboro.
group. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, like those. And I thought it was really funny. And then he's told everybody like, hey, everybody should come visit the Square Development Office. It's in on the Anima server, 15th Ward, in the Lavender Beds. I thought that was really cute though,
That's
because you see him tweeting
awesome.
all about it. Yeah. Like, how awesome is that?
That's super awesome. Oh my god. Like I didn't know that's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah. So I thought that was cool. Other than that, there is so I do want to also mention, as part of because I saw this tweet when during the Steam Next Fest. So I
Uh-huh.
saw a tweet from a developer saying, "Hey, fellow devs, like you might get some false hopes because with the incentive, if you as many demos that you play during the Steam Next Fest, you get like a little badge." So I noticed I got a little badge or something. I had played like 12 of the demos. But some people, like, this is like really low. Like, how bad is it that people are making bots to play the demos instead of actually going out and finding games and playing demos, and using these bots to like play these games for like 3 hours so they can get like the achievement in Steam to show that they played this many games, you know?
That's so weird.
Yeah, just so you can show it says you played like 600 demos in the Steam Next Fest. Like, is it really that serious? And all that's doing is driving the numbers for these indie devs. Most of these indie devs are like thinking like, "Oh, cool, my game is getting played. They really like my game. They've been playing for 2-3 hours." No, no, no. That's a bot. Yeah, which is really terrible because they're getting all this false information on there.
I know that sucks because you think your game is doing well. You think, you're like, wow, look at that. And it's like, nope.
Nope, all the numbers are skewed because a bunch of people want to ruin it for everybody. Thanks.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's lame. So also, just speaking of sales, the itch.io summer game sales going on right now. It was kind
Woo!
of it was kind of funny because on your end I see you going, but the sound cut out. So
Oh, stupid Discord. Yeah.
it sounded like you were screaming silently, like.
Yeah.
But with that being said, itch.io themselves actually tweeted out on like the 14th, like, hey, don't forget you can play your itch.io games on your Steam Deck. Do you need help how? And they put out a little tutorial on it showing you
Hell
can
yeah.
download.
See? Telling you, I'm telling you, it's a see people thinking like, why would I want
People are sleeping on it.
so I forgot. I've been meaning to tweet about this, but I was on the Idiot Ezra podcast finally.
Wow.
Yeah, so shout out to Idiot Ezra. On Spotify. And it's a general podcast where they talk about whatever. So it can go from television shows they watch to life stories to video games. So they've been Marvin is a co-host on there who's been kind of calling me an X-bot, which I'm like, come on. If you listen to the show, if you listen to my views, I'm like, I'm far from an X-bot. You know what I mean? I could be mistaken for a pony before an X-bot, but I'm not. And it's become kind of a derogatory word to say. I'm a neutral, but unfortunately, I'm a PlayStation leaning neutral. I laugh at both sides. Anything fucked up that happens to Sony, I laugh. Anything that fucked up that happens to Xbox, I laugh. So it's like it doesn't matter. Either way, we were finally on there having a discussion. But before we were prepping, it's not even on the recording. Unfortunately, we had the biggest fight right before we started recording about PC and blah blah. He doesn't mess with PC because it messes. You have to do driver updates and you have to do all these things. The motherboard, if it's not updated right, and blah blah blah. I'm just like, oh my gosh. Oh, there's a USB port dedicated. I'm like, first of all, not every motherboard is like that. And second, you don't have to, I used to never flash motherboard BIOSes because he's talking about, oh, just update the motherboard you need. I'm like, yeah, it's to flash the BIOS. And that's usually if you want to change the processor or whatever. I'm trying to tell him how this all works and why none of that fucking matters. But he didn't want to hear it because, console is king apparently. But with the Steam Deck, especially you don't have to do none of that shit. I'm bringing this up because it's like the Steam. They're on that show. They're so adamant, both of them, more Marvin than Ezra, that they don't see how the Steam Deck makes any sense because you're gonna go from your powerful PC to. I'm like, PC players literally own a Switch for the portability. A lot of people prefer to buy their indie games on a mobile device instead of buying it on playing it on PC. And then he's like, oh, you build that monster PC to. And then of all games, he says to go play Undertale. I'm like, first of all, don't shit on Undertale. It's an amazing game. But
really, he was throwing Undertale under the bus.
Exactly.
How rude!
I know. I wish that part was recorded, but unfortunately, it's not recorded. But
he's lucky. Go kick him in the shin now.
Hell yeah. So
speaking of my Undertale,
I'm like, first of all, who cares? All those games are on PlayStation, so it's like you could spend $500 on a PS5 and still play on fucking Undertale. I don't see what's wrong with that. But I'm like, but that's literally what I have my Steam Deck for. That I can play my powerful ass PC, and then how many times I don't feel like sitting on my desk. I don't feel like connecting it to my TV because PCs to TVs isn't the best solution unless it's like the only monitor, and even then it can still be finicky. And, I'm not gonna say and I can just take the game without having to worry about it to the room and continue my save. Like my save is on the Steam Deck. Being able to play Monster Hunter in 4K and then going to play it's 720p, but not for nothing, that screen is so small.
It's so small.
That 720 might as well be like a 4K screen on those things. It looks fantastic. It still looks great.
Absolutely.
So I'm like, get the fuck out of it. It's not like the Switch where you're forced to look at these really bad graphics. You know what I mean? Like even something like Blasphemous didn't run as nicely on the PS4 that it did on PC or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, so even indie games can look better. Even they can still look a lot crisper and sharper and run better on PC versus a console.
Oh, hell yeah, of course. Even like, let's say, even though it looks really great on PC Spinch, like play that on PC, then go to Switch. Remember how clunky it was? I know they updated it since the beginning, since it released 2020 September. But even that, I'm sure even the playing Spinch on the Switch, even playing it after, like months after, it's still not as good as playing it on the Steam Deck, honestly.
Exactly. No,
it's really not.
That's what I'm saying. You're getting a pretty fucking powerful handheld device. That's what these dudes are not realizing. It's for a handheld, it's still pretty damn powerful. You're getting almost a PlayStation 4, pretty much a PlayStation 4 in your hands. It's running great, or it's probably closer to a PS Pro than it is a base PS4, because it's running things at 60 FPS that the PS4 can't do. So you're getting that in your hands. So that's why I'm like, get the fuck out of here. You can't. I'm like, yeah, you're getting lesser graphics. Yeah, that's what you give up for portable, but you're still getting probably the best performance you're currently going to get on the go, a full-blown PC, full-blown emulation. And you may not care about those things, but these are things I care about. That's what's worth the asking price. That's what a lot of people care about, and that's why it's great for the PC community, because we like to tinker with shit. We don't mind updating shit. We don't mind putting mods on things, because that's what makes it great versus something like the Switch, where you're locked in on whatever settings the devs put. That's all you get. Whereas on the Steam Deck, you want better graphics, but want to kill your frame rate, you have that option. You want higher frame rate at a lesser fidelity, you have that option. Like, you have so many options, and it's like, the game doesn't really run right. There's probably a mod or something that's going to fix that. So there's a million options. Absolutely. And I got to say, like, being able to play Monster Hunter, be able to play, some of the indie games or whatnot, and the fact that, like, they're pushing for the Steam Deck to like things to say, oh, this is working on Steam Deck, that Final Fantasy 7, hey, you want to play this brand new game that just came out 2 years, I guarantee runs better on the Steam Deck than it runs on the base PS4. Guaranteed it's gonna run. I'm almost certain you can get it to 60 FPS, where you can't get that on the PS4 Pro. I guarantee you can probably get it at 60 FPS on the Steam Deck. I haven't tried it. So there's, but again, be running at 720p definitely helps versus 1080p or whatnot. So, granted, and like I said, it's much more powerful than something like the Switch that could not run those games at all.
Oh yeah.
So that's why I'm like, definitely. You're getting a pretty good deal, a pretty good device. It's going to do a lot. And that's why so many people, it's been trending more and more on Twitter. As more people get in their hands, they realize, like, I'm telling you, I said this from day one. Yeah, a little while ago. I've been saying this from day one. I said, when people get it in their hands, people's minds are going to change. You're going to see that word of mouth is going to skyrocket that device. I'm telling you, by the end of the year, it's going to be one of the most sought after devices. I'm telling you right now. And the fact that other companies are seeing boosted sales, I'm sure, in PC, because now it's like, yo, that's why I doubled it. So I wouldn't have bought Shredder's Revenge on Steam if it wasn't for the Steam Deck. And that's it's going to be like the Switch all over again, but for Steam this time. And that's a better deal to me, because you're stuck with the Switch, whereas this, you can play it on a powerful PC and then jump to your Steam Deck, and the cloud saves are instant and perfect. Yeah, exactly. So that's why I'm like, people, you could say, oh, it doesn't make sense, blah, blah, blah. Why would you? I'm like, because I can take it with me, because my cloud save is there. Even for an indie game, I don't always want to play indie games on my Switch or whatnot. So you have to like put it on the dock or whatnot, and it's still gonna look kind of ugly or run kind of shitty. Whereas like, you know what, I don't feel like playing this on my Steam Deck. Let me go. I could sit on my computer when I feel like it and play the better version. Same save, same gravity. I'm barely losing anything when I switch between the two. So that's why I'm like, graphically wise. Absolutely. So that's why I'm like, it's been a great investment, and I don't regret it, not even a little bit.
Yep. And what's really also cool about itch.io, there's some games that run on Linux.
Yep. A lot of games, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of free games on there you can find on there. It runs on Linux just great, which is running perfectly well on the Steam Deck. Yay.
Exactly. But, Steam Deck runs on Linux. Yep.
Yeah, and it's pretty much once you get the games on itch.io, which again there is the summer sale, you can just add it to your Steam library, and boom, it's DRM free and everything on there. So you don't even have to like double dip in that sense to get it on itch.io and get it to Steam. You can just incorporate it into your library.
Exactly.
So that's really great. That's perfect.
And that's the beauty, because for the most part, I probably won't double dip, because a lot of times I like to just buy my games on PC if they're there. So it's like the only reason I got something like Shredder's Revenge is because it's multiplayer. So it's like, instead of having to deal with everyone being at a PC or doing any kind of like remote together or all trying to, whatever, it made sense to buy a game like that on the PlayStation, whatever. Even though...
Exactly.
You know what? I'm kind of dumb because I could have just got it on played it on Game Pass, but it's all right.
Oh yeah, that's right. Game
I
Pass,
forgot
which
it's on Game
Undertale
Pass.
is also on as well, by the way.
But speaking of like the way that they had a guide on how to add games from itch.io to the Steam Deck, Microsoft themselves has a way to put Game Pass xCloud to run natively. It even tells you how to change the wallpaper, like the little thumbnail, so that it looks official. Because you're running it through Edge browser for Linux, right? So when you add Edge to Steam on the Steam Deck, it's like, it says Edge browser. So they, in the guide from on Microsoft's website, it tells you how to change that to the Xbox logo, and it's like, oh, get the Xbox logo and put that there instead, and rename it to xCloud. Yeah, exactly. It's like they want you to have it. I mean, of course, why not? It only makes sense. It's like they need to just have a native app, which is like, come on, build an app for Steam, and have fucking xCloud run through that. I'm sure it's gonna happen, and I'm sure, mark my words, that Microsoft's gonna come out with their first handheld because of this. Now that they're seeing what they're doing, imagine xCloud, power enabled, X deck or whatever,
X deck.
7 Xboxes and X deck or whatever.
X deck. Gonna play with my X deck.
Yes. Smell my deck. You're gonna have the Xbox Mini playing, running games right through fucking the locally or whatever. And if you want the latest and greatest graphics, or you want the Series X, whatever, you can run the game right off xCloud or whatnot. And if it's optimized properly, and again, like I always say, keep that latency low. And there's little latency, which I hear the Steam Deck does really good with streaming games. Apparently, you play freaking Fall Guys because since it has the anti-cheat, it doesn't run well on Steam Deck. But you streamed it from your computer and it ran pretty good, right? Like zero latency.
Great.
Yeah,
barely. Yeah, I didn't even notice any latency. It was great. I jumped. I pressed the button. I jumped. It was great. I was doing really well in all those rounds that we played together.
Exactly, and that's a game that requires you to your jumps to be precise sometimes. So
absolutely,
that's what I'm saying. So if it can do that with xCloud, which again, I didn't, in the end, I didn't get it to really work yet because I must have skipped a step, and I think we're getting ready to record or something, or I forgot what it was, but I ended up not being able to finish what we were doing, what I was doing. So I'm definitely going to report back with that. But shit, that I'm telling you, Xbox is going to come out with their own, or it's going to be some kind of partnership, like like the way they did with the Razer Kishi. It'll be like an Xbox, blah blah blah, but it'll be like Xbox branded with Steam Deck built in, like the Steam OS built into it, or running off the Steam OS. I'm sure, because Steam's not going to care. They want you to buy their games. If you want to buy their games through fucking Steam, go ahead. They want you to buy their games. They probably prefer that you buy the games, even though they have their own launcher technically through Windows. I'm sure they don't care if you purchase their games through Steam. And if you want to play xCloud, if people can get xCloud anyway through on the Steam Deck, it's like, why not sell your own branded one through Steam and do it? Like, that's probably what they're gonna do, because I don't know if you heard, TVs, I think starting next year, are gonna start, certain TV like Samsung and stuff is gonna start having xCloud built into it.
Oh really?
Yep. So imagine that, when all you need is a fucking TV, a fucking Ethernet cable for the best latency, and a controller. Boom.
So that means I'll be able to play Kojima's game day one on my new Samsung TV with xCloud.
Hashtag not an ad. Because now you have to
hashtag pay me Kojima. Thank you.
Right, the FTC is gonna come get you if you're. Oh man,
that's really cool though. Not for nothing. Not even gonna try to play that. That's really cool.
Which part?
We'll see how. Just that it's good. It's gonna be on the TVs. It's just gonna be directly on the TVs.
And they want a dongle and all that, but I feel like even before that, they're gonna come out with a handheld. I don't know. I really feel like they're gonna
probably.
It makes sense. Look,
do you think Sony's kicking themselves right now?
In a way, yeah. In a way, I really not yet,
I'm
not
sure
yet.
they are.
I think Sony's
I
gonna
feel like
kick
they are.
themselves when not if but when the Steam Deck really starts hitting mass popularity, like the mainstream, like the day the chip shortage is over and you can walk into an electronics store like a Best Buy, or just go to Amazon, or just through Steam directly and just order a Steam Deck just like that.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
telling you, it's gonna make a lot of sense. And the utility, it's you have a gaming handheld on top of a computer. It's a computer, and you can
Mm-hmm.
plug a mouse and keyboard right into it. It does everything that you can do
I know. That's
on a
true.
computer. If you don't want to carry around a laptop, you can legit just connect it to a monitor, and boom, or work off that little screen if you want, or get one of those detachable like little external screens, and I'm sure you
Yes.
can work right off of that. And the more mods that come out for it, that where Windows will work better for it and all that, because right now Windows is not the greatest. But imagine, that's what I'm saying, imagine Microsoft finds a way to put Windows on their own device, call it the Surface Deck or whatever, because that Surface is their like tablet brand, right? So imagine
Yes.
a
Yes.
Surface Pro, or Surface X, Surface X or whatever, that's modeled similarly to that. It can run maybe even dual boot Steam OS, and I'm telling you, Microsoft's going to figure out a way to help the Steam Deck be everything it can be. I think that's what's going to happen. Like either that, or they're
The
going to
cervix.
Surfix. Oh, that sounds horrible.
That sounds like cervix.
Exactly. The cervix. Microsoft cervix. Oh my god.
It's funny because you have look at the X right next to you in your screen.
Wait, I'm not even looking at. Oh,
Oh,
what this here?
there you go. Yeah. I'm like, yeah.
Oh my god. So
Cervix.
cervix. Oh my god. But no, like I said, I have a feeling, because right now Windows support is not really the greatest on it. I think that's gonna change. I think there's gonna
That's
be
absolutely gonna change.
a gaming
Oh yeah.
version, a mobile gaming version of Windows, where it does everything that Windows needs. Like the way they did for the Surface, that they had like the Surface that wasn't a full blown version of Windows or whatever, so it didn't really run games. But if they can take that idea, have a very lightweight, the Xbox software, that's the same, that's Windows 10, the Xbox. So if they can figure out a way to optimize the Xbox software to run on a smaller device, they can do it. They can do it.
Yes.
Like I said, and that this is what they needed to do. Oh my god, sorry. It's like the ideas are just like pouring in right now, because it's like, again, this is not me loving Xbox. This is just me thinking like I like to look at the business side of things and what would be cool for a company to do that probably won't do it. And I feel like the Series S really should have been the Steam Deck, like their version of that. Like, get rid of the Series S, stop selling it as a home console. Fuck that shit. Take those parts that you would have used for a Series S and build it into a handheld. And there you go. Now you have a 1440p machine. Take that $300, see if you can condense that shit into a smaller package. Especially that after a couple of years, there's always a slim. So having a Series S, fucking, what am I trying to say? Packed into a smaller device, and calling that, the Series S handheld or whatever, and it doing everything that, it can run all the games natively that it wants. You have you have Game Pass, whatever, but then you can run everything off of xCloud. You know what I mean? Like it'll be optimized for that, whatever, and it'll like maybe dual boot Steam OS or whatever the fuck, just to, because they said they want people to use the Steam OS. Other companies, they said it's gonna be
Yes.
open
Exactly.
source. You want Steam OS? Go ahead, use it. So I'm pretty sure it'll be some form of like the Xbox, like I said, Series X handheld that runs Steam OS, but it also maybe has its own version of Windows or something. And I think that would be a great idea. And then you have your home console, and then you have that. And yes, if this happens, Sony's gonna be kicking themselves, because they should have kept the fucking Vita alive. I said this years ago. I said if they didn't care about the game so much, then they should have pushed for it to be a streaming device, because it worked pretty well and inside the house as a PS4 streaming device. We played Final Fantasy
really
that way.
did.
Yeah.
Crafting.
Yup. How many times?
Crafting on the Vita. I love that thing. I played Gitaru on there, and What else did we do on there? Because then it had the touch screen. It had so much on that little thing.
Yeah, I mean, we played like a bunch of the little games that came out for it. It had the AR thing as well, and then and it was just a bunch of other little games, you know. And then it's just that we
And
didn't
I
play.
played My Name is Mayo on there.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's been a while since we touched it because the Switch came out and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But I carried that thing around for a minute. I played a lot of
Oh, hell yeah.
Hotline Miami on that shit. So
Oh, that's right.
yeah, I
That's
played the
right.
shit out of that on the Steam Deck. I mean on the PS
On the
Vita.
Steam Deck. Potato, potato.
Shit. And then I modded when I finally was able to mod it. Then I put a bunch of shit on there for that too. But yeah, no, the Vita should have stayed the streaming device. They should have kept coming out with a game here, a game there, kind of kept it alive a little bit
Mm-hmm.
and or something. But yeah, it's like what's gonna happen? I guess Sony's not really gonna be too worried. I guess because they're releasing their games on PC. So I think the day ever
Oh,
comes where
that's true.
mobile PC gaming really blows up. That's when they'll do day and date on PC. Like you get it on PS5 or PC, wherever you want to buy the game at. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if handheld PCs keep ramping up, that could spell the end of your classic home console. I think that it really could. Why buy it?
Mm-hmm.
Why buy a console to play a game that I can, if I wait a little longer, I can eventually play on PC, and and or on my mobile PC, handheld PC, like the Steam Deck or whatever, or its sequel or whatever Xbox comes out or whatever,
Yes.
whatever Steam comes out with. Like, why spend $500 on a console? It will make no sense. So I have a feeling
Exactly.
that PS6 or whatever the next things are will either have some kind of online component, or they're just gonna really push cloud gaming and say, you want to play the game locally, buy a PC, do it on PC. Then simple
Mm-hmm.
as that. We're not gonna sell consoles anymore. Buy it there. You can stream the games in any way you want. I can see that really being how the future is. Like everything goes to PC, and that's really it. That's really it, and or whatnot. I mean, how they'll make money anymore is, I guess, remains to be seen. But we'll see. But I have a feeling, they're live service games. That could be the way they go too.
I was gonna say their new PlayStation subscription can help
Yeah.
with that. No.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah. Exactly. The live service shit or whatever, and
Mm-hmm.
having their own like catalog, or that you can go back to or
Mm-hmm.
whatnot. But yeah, that's
Mm-hmm.
enough about that. Thank you for that. So yeah, I saw a headline that just sounded funny. Mario movie producer says Chris Pratt won't offend Italians because he's gonna be, Mario or whatever. I'm just like, do you really think? Do, do you think that's why people are mad, or because nobody gives a shit about that? Like,
Yes, because the Italians are the ones who are currently offended at Chris Pratt playing Mario.
oh, people are mad. Don't worry, he won't offend Italians. Like, my man, my man.
What?
Like, no, people. I just didn't realize how much people
Ah.
hate Chris Pratt. Um,
Oh yeah, there's a lot going on with Chris
but
Pratt. Yes.
but yeah, the last, this came out yesterday, the 20th. So Tony Hawk, he was randomly on, I forget whose stream it was. He was randomly on a stream, and he goes, "Oh yeah, we were supposed to do Tony Hawk 3 and 4." And I'm like, everyone's like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, like up until they released the remakes of Tony Hawk 1 and 2, uh uh they were gonna, the plan was always to make a remake 3 and 4, and
Wow.
then fucking good old Kotick over there, Bobby Kotick, the people that work with him decide to fucking break up Vicarious Visions, and have Blizzard absorb them. And that was it. They had a couple of studios pitched to them that weren't Vicarious Visions for some random reason, and when the ideas didn't flow in that they wanted to hear, they scrapped Tony Hawk 3 and 4. This came up from Tony Hawk's
Wow.
mouth. And I'm like, yo, that's so fucked up.
That's
Yo,
wild.
people are tight. People were so tight. It's like, yo,
People love the Tony Hawk games. Like I
and
have people I follow on Twitter that are just like they play. I forget what the skateboarding games that they play. Those newer ones, and they're like heavily modded, and they just love these Tony Hawk type of games. These skateboarding
yep,
games.
Yeah, that's our childhood. Like I told you, how the amount of hours we spent in a stinky, sweaty room, back in the day, that my friend had it, and we used to take turns. We used to play split screen, just challenging each other's, scores. We played the shit out of Tony Hawk, and then all the music that we were put onto. It's I didn't listen to freaking any kind of like, rock or anything like that until like GTA and like Tony Hawk came out. Like seriously,
right? All the punk music and stuff like that.
I never listened to that shit. Back in the day, I was a rap head back back in the late '90s. So yeah, that put me onto a lot of different music, and I loved it. So many people bought skateboards because of that damn game. So
yeah. I used to watch the X Games, so you can watch Tony Hawk. Saw him when he did the 900 and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like I get why people are upset. I mean, me personally, it's like whatever. I didn't even buy the remix for one too, but I don't really care about it. I care for people who really love those games. That to hear that it's just heartbreaking. It's like, damn, there was gonna be a fucking the other two games. Like, again, there's a people's childhood right there, and it's just like, yo, they could have. And all they had to do is remaster those fucking games. Add the same types of things, and that's it. It's just like Activision's like, if it's not making $1 billion, it's like, these motherfuckers don't care about anything. That's the shit that sucks. But yeah, I guess the only other thing that I just found out a little while ago was that PlayStation, which is not really a surprise, isn't going to be at Gamescom. So poo poo on that. And tomorrow is going to be the 22nd is going to be the Xenosaga 3, Nintendo Direct that nobody besides Xenosaga players gives a shit about. And even those players know enough about the game that they don't even want that, So it is what it is.
Yeah.
And I'll be looking forward to Monster Hunter in a week and a half. So, but yeah. I think that's it. I think we covered everything we wanted to cover tonight. Was there anything else? Any other last bits or?
Oh, don't forget to do the Among Us Fortnite collaboration, so you can get the Fortnite or get the Among Us things.
Exactly.
I think you can get like an emote.
I like emotes.
I like emotes too.
Yeah.
I like emotes. I'm gonna go play on my Steam Deck.
Steam Deck?
A Steam Deck.
Steam Deck. Give me mine. I'm about to give you a Steam Deck.
Steam Deck.
Damn it. We need to go back to middle school and high school so we can go give people Steam Decks. And they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like,
shut up, Steam your neck.
Damn, you're a troll. You that like, shut up, Steam your neck. Yeah.
The more you learn.
And then we go play X-Men vs. Street Fighter at the arcades.
Yay. Go down to the local pizzeria.
Oh man, I missed that. That should be a law, right? Like every pizzeria has to have at least 2 arcade machines in there at all times. I don't care how big or small. Always.
Yep.
But anyway, thank you everybody again for listening. If you made it this far, I really, really appreciate you. Don't forget to follow us if you haven't already. Give us a thumbs up or a 5-star rating so this podcast can get found. And yeah, it's a great way to stay in shape.
Bye.
Bye.